Everything that's on the stand, we actually want to be able to take up and reuse somewhere. So a bit like the gardens themselves. So all of the gardens that they support, essentially after the week, are going to be lifted and moved into a community or somewhere that needs them. So we wanted it to be the same for everything that went on the stand, from the furniture on it to the flooring, even the wall panelling in the kitchen itself. Everything can be picked up and used elsewhere. So that was really, really important to us. So we've had this amazing opportunity for the third year in a row to return to Chelsea Flower Show to design a stand for Project Giving Back. It's an amazing organisation that supports gardens for good causes around the UK. So each of the charities is given essentially an incredible garden designer that's selected really carefully, and they create these beautiful gardens for them. And then the stand essentially is somewhere that people can come and learn about the gardens and learn all about the work that the charities do. So for us it was a huge honour to be able to create this stand, this central place that people could come. And therefore it was really important to us that we really followed their brief and understood their brief quite accurately. So the brief was really multifaceted because obviously there's so many elements to consider when designing a trade stand. But I think the first place it always starts is with concept, and we couldn't not take inspiration, of course, from gardens and from nature. So I think firstly it's extremely biophilic, the design.
We kind of wanted to create this lovely sort of like potting shed garden room feel, didn't we? So like drawing the outside in and creating this really cosy space full of plants and, I don't know, nice things to look at.
And I think because we're in England and the charities are UK based, we really wanted to feel like a sort of English country garden potting shed. But obviously it's not all about how it looks aesthetically, it's also about how it functions. So once we get past the fun concept stage, it's really understanding the client brief, and what that entails is understanding the footfall, what they need to use it for, how many people are going to be coming on the stand,
and that flow of it, and how people are going to... so Project Giving Back really wanted this space to be multifunctional, as we said. So we had at the front of the stand this public-facing area where people would come on and understand the story of Project Giving Back. And then out the back there was a slightly more private area for VIP guests and to conduct interviews and things like that. Between the two areas, essentially the first part is the bit that you see when you walk down the sort of promenade, and you can see these beautiful flowers and this amazing bench that we had sculpted from wood, worked with an amazing company called Goldfinger to create this really beautiful bench that people can come and sit in. But then right behind you, that you can't really see off the track, like Rosie said, this amazing VIP room that you can go into. But to divide it, instead of just creating a wall, we actually used these signs, told a story. Like key sort of information about Project Giving Back, I suppose. Exactly what they do. Between them you can sort of just about see through to this seating area behind. And around it was just so many plants. The front area of the stand, you get the most amount of footfall. We even had to consider about access, like wheelchair access, because there's a lot of guests that come in here. They do a lot of filming for TV as well, so people had to get up onto the stand really easily. But consideration was the flooring that we used, and we wanted to use a sort of essentially an outdoor flooring that still looked like you potentially indoors. So we used this really beautiful millboard in this lovely sort of rustic textured wood. And then as you went round into the sort of VIP area, we then changed it up, and obviously again we really had to think about the materials that we were using. Sustainability is hugely important, not just to us but to Project Giving Back, and therefore all the materials that we've used, we really wanted to be considerate about where they all came from. They've all been like really consciously selected, haven't they? And in the back area we used the cork floor tiles, which they're brilliant because they are biodegradable. There's actually even been able to reuse some of the items from last year's show as well. So the kitchen, that was reused, wasn't it? And the shelving and storage shelving in the back office. So yeah, we've managed to use some things from last year, and also looking forward for Project Giving Back to be able to reuse some items from this year's stand. So we made the Cork map, which is their relocation map, highlighting where the gardens have been relocated. So hopefully they can reuse that for exhibitions and anything going forward. And actually, we should probably talk about the paint colours, because we actually designed specially with Coat some specific paint colours that will be available for everyone to use very soon. And of course we couldn't not work with some of our favourite suppliers, so we've used Parker Howley, who make our vanity units. They made the beautiful sideboard in the front space. Chauncey supplied the reclaimed timber, which we made the planters out of. and Jungle built the whole stand, and they were absolutely brilliant. They're B Corp registered company and absolutely brilliant to work with.
Like with, I suppose, any design, it never ever goes smoothly, and whenever you think you have the design sorted, things turn out to be out of stock. You can't get them in time.
Always.
The time frame on this was so tight. Third year in a row, it always has been. We have about 7 weeks from essentially instruction all the way through to actual completion. So it's pretty full on, but the fabrics actually that we have here on the board now are not all we originally selected because they were out of stock. And actually the fabric that we ended up using on the back of the sofa, this one by Blythefield, who's one of our favourite suppliers, we love them. This was a complete luck, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We just sort of, it almost like fell out the box and us, you know, when we were looking, and they only had
12 metres or something.
12, and we needed how many?
Like 25. So.
Yeah, so we managed to nab the last 12 metres, and what that ended up meaning is that the bottom base of the sofa we actually sort of colour matched with a really nice sort of heavy linen. And actually, it's one of those little mistakes that sometimes happens that is just magic in design, because actually it's made it look even better than it would have done before.
Yeah, so this year it was different to the last couple of years actually, because the brief I think was more complicated, I suppose, in that we had to incorporate these different areas. Also within the stand that you can't really see, it's like a lockable office space for their photographers to work in. We've got a storage space out the back, and then you've got this private and public area, so it's lots of things to consider. But I think because we've done it for the last 2 years, and we understand, I think, more what Project Giving Back are really looking for in the stand and how they use it, so hopefully we really nailed the brief this year.
Yeah, it's a mad time because obviously it happened so fast, and then you've got like 4 days from when we're allowed on site to actually install this space and completely bring it to life.
There's no room for errors, so it's
no room for error, and there's just so many details and things to consider. So, but I think we pulled it off pretty well.
Yeah.
Well done, Lucy.
Good team effort.